Hello everybody, in today's video I want to go over some tips and tricks for running either a 5 or 10K marathon. A 5K marathon is about 3.5 miles and a 10K marathon is about 6.5 miles. So these tips don't necessarily apply to if you're doing full marathons or even half marathons, but still helpful if you're new to running or see this as a sport you want to get into at some point nonetheless. So tip number one, probably the most important thing, is to buy running shoes. This is something that I did not do when I first started running a while back. And the shoes that I had were pretty padded. So at first it was okay. But when I got like probably 3 or 4 miles in, my left foot right here would fall asleep. And I'd have to literally limp the next 2 or 3 miles to recover. And that's really not healthy for your feet or your legs, because what's happening when you run is that your muscles are breaking down a lot harder because of the padding, and it's the impact of the concrete or the road or whatever. So definitely get running shoes. That padding really helps. The shoes that I have are just, a lifesaver when I go running. But yeah, don't be like me. Actually get running shoes. You'll be glad you did if you run. Tip number 2 is try not to do a lot of cardio, whether it's running or otherwise. If you're trying to build muscle, the two can often work against each other. And again, this is what I did, or I'm currently doing, so you can choose whether you want to listen to this or not. But the two can kind of work against each other, because with cardio and you burn so many calories, you can often either lose weight or lose body fat. So the two can work against each other. Not necessarily, it depends on the type of cardio you're doing. Like biking, for example, can be better for your legs and lower body than running can. But definitely keep this in mind if your goal is to build muscle and not to be in endurance sports. And tip number 3, again, another really simple one, is to make sure you hydrate and get enough protein or electrolytes in, especially if it's really hot outside. Even if it's chilly or kind of cool, you want to make sure that your body gets enough food to kind of sustain you on even longer runs than if you're just going a couple miles. But yeah, definitely try and either eat something before, and if not before you go on a run, definitely eat something after, because believe me, you're going to be hungry. And I should clarify that the tips I just gave, they don't just apply to if you're doing running like for 5 and 10K marathons, but they also apply like for just doing running as a hobby, if you're doing it for something to clear your head, or if you're doing it with a friend or something. But the last tip I think is really important, which is to actually train for each marathon that you're doing. And again, for the first 10K that I ran, so story time. For the first 10K that I ran, I did train, and I kind of built up to it, and I was like, okay, I can do this. And it was hard, but I eventually did finish the race, and all that running that I did prior made it worth it. Whereas the 5K that I did and the 10K I have coming up this weekend, I didn't do any training. And so when I did that 5K a while back, even though it was just a few miles, I really felt it in my legs a lot more than I should have, because I didn't train for it. Very not smart. If you don't know kind of going into it how much mileage you can do, kind of what your pacing is, it can actually be kind of dangerous. So I would not recommend that. That's what I did, but I would highly recommend training. If you enjoy these vlog-ish style videos, I've got other ideas for stuff that I could put up here on the channel, just kind of seeing how things go. Definitely give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. And until next time, I will talk to you soon, I guess. Okay, bye.